Hey Grace family, I am joining you from the Cafe of Grace today, just getting some work done over here, and wanted to remind you we are having Thru Communion this Sunday, May 10th from 2 to 4 p.m. right in the parking lot behind me here at Grace. All you have to do is just show up in your car. You're not going to be getting out of your car. Pastor Rich and I are going to be distributing communion to you as safely as possible. We're going to be sanitizing before and after each time we handle any of the bread and wine. We're also going to be wearing masks. We're going to do our best to make sure that you are safe and protected as you receive the forgiveness and grace of Jesus. We are so excited to be able to do this this week. It's going to be really a great thing. A great way to celebrate Mother's Day is just receiving forgiveness of Jesus. And that really had me thinking about something my grandmother used to say. She used to say, God don't love ugly. And what that meant for her was, if you are a jerk to people, God will get you back. That was kind of her way of thinking. I kind of look at it like this. When you are unkind to somebody, when you say or do hurtful things, it's obviously sin, but I also think bitterness starts to form in your heart when you're jealous of people or whatever the case may be. This bitterness becomes just kind of solidified in your heart. And bitterness is kind of like when you pull weeds. I have a ton of weeds in a whole area on the side of my house between my neighbor and I that is kind of no man's land. Like, who does it belong to? Well, part of it belongs to me, part of them, but neither of the prior homeowners or a current homeowner, at least on the other side, they don't do anything about it. Well, if all I do when I try to go pull those weeds is just pull off parts of it so it looks prettier, they're going to come back with a vengeance later. In order to get the weed completely gone, you have to get the root. You have to kill it at the root by getting its root. Friends, that's what we got to do with bitterness. That's what we got to do with sin, because my grandmother was right. God doesn't love ugly. And what happens is when you are ugly to others, you're unloving, that bitterness starts to take root in your heart. And the only way you can get rid of it is by capturing the root itself, the root of bitterness. And Corrie ten Boom, in her book, The Hiding Place, describes this time when she was in a church service in Munich. There was a German guard who ended up being there. And this was a guard who had stood guard at the shower room door, one of the processing centers. And this was a jailer she had encountered when she was there held under siege. And she was really having trouble because she had preached, she had been there, and then she says this, so often, I'm talking about Jesus washing sins away, and there the guy was, his hand reaching out for me to shake it, and I'm keeping my hand at my side. She said, Jesus Christ died for this man. Was I going to ask for more? Lord Jesus, she prays, forgive me and help me to forgive him. She says, I tried to smile, I struggled to raise my hand, and I couldn't. I felt not the warmest spark of charity. I couldn't do it. And so again, I breathed a silent prayer, Jesus, I cannot forgive him. Give me your forgiveness. As I took his hand, the most incredible thing happened. From my shoulder along my arm and through my hand, a current seemed to pass from me to him, while into my heart sprang a love for this stranger that almost overwhelmed me. And so I discovered it is not on our own. It is not on our forgiveness any more than on our goodness that the world's healing hinges, but instead on His, on Jesus. When He tells us to love our enemies, He gives, along with the command, the love itself. And so, friends, that's what Jesus has done for you and me. That's what He's doing for you and me on Sunday, bringing us forgiveness and grace. That's what He does as we dive into His Word. He gives us forgiveness and grace. And that's what Jesus is doing for you. And so we hope to see you in Sunday online, worshiping, giving thanks and praise to for the forgiveness of Jesus. But also we hope to see you Sunday so we can say hello and, more importantly, share with you the grace of forgiveness, the good news of Jesus in a real tangible way through this body and blood of Christ. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great evening.